I went ahead and wanted to meditate and everything, do all this stuff before I actually pulled these cards for you. And I'm sorry that it took me so long to actually get around to doing this, first of all. And second of all, I'm sorry I totally passed out on you last night. And that's why I didn't respond to your email. But hopefully this email response will have made, that like limbo that I put you in. Sorry. But hopefully this will make that little wait worth it. Or not so little wait, because it's been a couple hours. Anyway, moving right along, this is a spread that I just kind of made up. I don't know if other people do this or not, but what I did is I pulled a card that represents you from one deck, and then I used my favorite deck, the Robin Wood deck here, to kind of get a general reading, a past, present, future type situation. So that's what I'm doing with this layout. And, of course, I have my notes because whenever I do a reading and I get a card, I try to like write down words that, pop into my head and stuff to kind of help guide me to get an idea of the message that's coming forward to me. Now, if at any point I am like way the fuck off, then, feel free if you're up for it. If not, you don't have to, but feel free to let me know. Okay, well, the card makes sense, but what you said was kind of off, and this is why, because I need that practice, and I need that feedback if you're willing to give it, because I'm certainly open to receiving it. How else am I going to learn, So moving right along, the first card I pulled from the Gods and Titans deck. My husband got it for me for Mother's Day, actually, in addition to some other things, but I really liked it because I had the Goddesses and Sirens, and I was like, but I need the other one too. So he got it for me. But this is the card that I pulled, and I'm sorry about the glare, but you got Nuada, and he represents in this deck perfection. And I actually haven't even read what the booklet says yet. I'm going to tell you what I think, and then I'm going to read what's in this booklet. So, what the words that I wrote down when I was looking at this card, I'm going to show it to you while I talk so you can check him out and stuff and have an idea and be able to get your own insight. But I pick up obviously a warrior, somebody who has, been through and survived some shit, and I see somebody who is ready or prepared for whatever life has to throw at them. Somebody who's been through some shit is likely, of course, to be that kind of person. You've experienced life, you've been through things, and that helps you realize that, there are things that you need to be prepared for. So there you go. I also want to note that this card came upside down, and I know everybody doesn't read reversals, but I personally do. And for me, if this is perfection, then the upside down would, logically be imperfection. And I'm not saying that, they're in imperfection, that there's anything wrong with that, because I personally feel that that's authentic, because there is nobody that is perfect in this life. I'm sure there are people that come closer to it than others, but that's a different argument. I feel like this card is indicating that you're a balanced person because of the experience and everything that you've been through, and that, of course, you're not perfect, but again, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not perfect, So welcome to the club, I guess. But so this card I got upside down as well, and this is again from the Robin Wood deck, but it's the Nine of Wands. And again, I'm gonna read from these different books and stuff that I had too, but I'm trying to tell you my intuitive answer first, because this is what I do when I read tarot, is I look at them and do things intuitively, and then I check the books and see what else I may have missed that the card could be trying to shed light on. So this is the Knight of Wands, and when you look at him upright, you have a guy who has obviously, like I said, you've been through some things. So you have all these accomplishments, all these achievements, all of these, I don't know, trophies, or you have something to show in some way, shape, or form for what you've been through. And obviously, again, this kind of sheds light on you having gone through some shit, because if you look at this guy, he is battered and bruised. Okay. He's obviously, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, he's been through some shit. I don't know why I keep saying the same thing, but that's exactly what keeps coming through to me. And, you're in this card, he's looking towards, he's looking forward. But if you have it upside down, this is somebody who is looking to the past, somebody who's worked hard, but who is kind of losing grip in a way. And of course, since wands represent fire, and fire is symbolic of passion and creativity and stuff, this is telling me that this is somebody who's been through some things and perhaps is maybe too focused on their past, or on something that happened in the past, and that you risk loss due to that. Perhaps you even went through a bout of depression in your past, however distant or recent it was, because this card does represent your past. So that's what I'm getting from this card. This card is the present, and this is the Knight of Swords. Swords represent thought, the air. That's the correspondences. And this guy looks like he's really taking charge. That because of the realm of thought and stuff like that, you have the feathers and the winged horse, and you're up in the clouds, and there's the sky, and there's even lightning. The lightning is, something meaningful as well, but I feel like this is saying that you've got your head in the right place, like you're on the right path. Your creativity has been sparked, via your thoughts, like you've had an aha moment or something along those lines. But and that you've recently taken a leap of faith, because again, you're in the air, you're flying, you've had to take off or leave the ground to fly. So I feel like this is indicating that you are very focused and determined presently. And as far as your future, we get back to the wands, and these cards are, the last card and this one were both right side up. So I feel like this is saying, your creativity is going to really shine through in your future if you stay on the path that you're on and you continue to kind of like trudge forward in this muddy life. But your future is the King of Wands. He's, like I said, I get this like keep moving forward feel, the keep going, and you will somebody's ringing my doorbell. I don't know who the hell they are. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. Somebody rang the doorbell, and I'm not expecting company or anything like that, like for the mailman or a package from the mailman rather, or anything like that. So I kind of had to do my creepy introverted like peek through the windows and figure out who the hell it is and see if I even want to open the door, if I just want to pretend I'm not home. Because I do that. But anyway, back to the King of Wands. I get this message of keep moving forward, and this is going to be where you're going to end up at. And this seems like an ideal situation to me. First of all, this is a king. It's not a page or a knight or you know what I mean. This is one of the higher status nobilities in the tarot deck. So, I'm getting the message of you're going to come out on top if you keep on keeping on. that, he's got his hand open like this. So to me, that's, somebody who has become more receptive, more inviting, somebody who has perhaps even mastered what their craft and now is able to kind of bring people in and help with their past, maybe teach a little bit, or at the very least share. Because I know some people don't necessarily want to be labeled as teachers because they're not trying to come off like they're this perfect person, going back to this imperfection card. They just want to be open and share. And I feel like that's where you're headed. If you're not already there, but in your near or distant future, this is where you're headed. I feel like this is a card that represents someone who is more courageous, somebody who now owns the fact that they're imperfect, because we can accept that we're imperfect, but that doesn't always make us feel good when it's brought to our attention. We can be very self-critical. So I feel like this is a card saying that, if you revel in the fact that you're an oddball, or, weirdo, witch, a hippie, or whatever other label anybody's thrown at you, then, that's just some boss mentality right there to have. And not just own your imperfections, but, perhaps it's not necessarily you, but a situation that isn't ideal. Just kind of own it, I guess, and move forward. Just keep moving forward and keep looking forward, because that's the direction this guy's looking in. And one thing that I found interesting too is that in this card, he's in the desert and he's seemingly alone, unless you pay really close attention and look that there's this little salamander down there. So, sometimes it can seem like you're alone or you're by yourself and you're having to keep going by yourself, but you're not alone. You're not alone, okay? So you have my email. If you ever need somebody to talk to or whatever, I'm here. And I have Facebook. So if you want to add me on Facebook me. But anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about the deck from my intuitive standpoint anyway. So some of the words that came to mind for me are in that book. Imperfection, having worked hard, but kind of being maybe stuck in a stalemate, or having a kind of writer's block in a way, and maybe harking on that a little bit too much, or thinking about it too much, or whatever. And then that there's that take charge, that extreme, you have the power to succeed. It's there. I mean, it seems clear to me, and then of course that, your future's looking up. It's going to be, you do have a good future to look forward to. You just got to, these are probably already things that you're thinking about and that I may or may not be confirming for you, which is, do your due diligence and everything's going to be fine, basically. So, sorry. I hope that this was insightful. I'm sorry if it was way off and just wow, this girl doesn't know what she's doing. That was bad. But definitely please offer me insight, because again, I don't know you. This is just purely from having cleansed the cards, meditated with them. I even wrote your name down. I don't know your actual name, so I used your username and had them sitting under the cards with some of my stones here to cleanse and kind of focus on you and your energy, and then pull the cards. And I had already shuffled them and stuff like that too. So I hope this was helpful. I'm sorry it's super long. Hopefully I can actually email this to you. And if not, then what I will do is edit stuff out and maybe post this on YouTube, but to where only you can see this unless you're cool with it being public. But other than that, that's it. So I hope you're having a good one and